Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. You and I are going to play with the Hydrosilex. Let me know down in the comment section how that's pronounced. Guys, I don't much bother with pronunciation. I just want to know one thing. Does the tool or the correction fluid or the pad work? Roops, Rupees, Hydrosilex, doesn't matter to me. I just want to know if the product works. If it does, I will add it to my arsenal no matter what it's called. And sometimes disregarding the price as well. So we have a cutting compound. We also have a finisher or a polish. And this is their team. This is their correction system. This hood here we just had in the last video, and we have it marked up with all different types of sand marks. And I still have them labeled up front here. We're going to clean this up because I need to clean the slate on this panel for the next test anyways. So what we'll do is we'll use the cutting compound to get rid of as many of the sand marks as we can. We'll see what it can remove and what it leaves behind. And then we'll follow up with a finishing pad and the finishing polish to get nice crisp reflection, finish it off, get rid of any haze if it leaves any haze behind. The cutting compound and the finishing polish are made not strictly but for best use with a dual action polisher. So that's what we have today. We'll throw the Eurofiber 50/50 pad, which is 50/50 cut and finish fibers, and we'll see what it can do. We'll use that to cut, and then we'll switch over to a finishing foam pad to team up with the finishing polish, and we'll measure some gloss, get some gloss units from the panel, and see what improvement we have. Let's get started. So this test panel here left exactly where we left off in the last video, and it has all of these sand marks still on here with just a few passes through. 2000 grit, 1500 grit, 1200 grit, 1000 grit. Let's just clean up the whole panel with the cutting compound first. That's the finish. That's not what I want. The cutting compound first. And we'll team that up with dual action polisher and the Eurofiber pad, see what we can get rid of here. We'll swap over from this pad to a finishing foam pad, and we'll check out the results. You and I will look at the results and enjoy them together. Let's see what this can do. Always shake up any correction fluid vigorously. Get that rich formula mixed in. I just want to see here. Oh yeah. So I can feel and see the abrasives. What I want to see then because of that is what's dusting going to be like, what's the cycle time going to be like, and how aggressive is this? So let's get some product on the pad. Sorry about that. Let's get some product on the pad and get it primed, and then we'll get some product on there for the work itself. I apologize for the phone. It's crazy busy here this time of year at the shop. I like to do these videos at the end of the day. When my boys have left, it's a bit quiet. The shop manager and I have the shop to ourselves. However, the phone keeps going, so it is what it is. This isn't a detail studio for YouTube. This is a shop here, so we have to deal with that stuff. All right, let's get to work here. I'm going to do, they want you to work a 2x2 section at a time, so we have the whole hood marked up. Let me get through the left side here first towards you, then I'll take care of the other side here with the real harsh sand marks. Then we'll finish her down. Bear with me here. Polisher between the 3rd and the 4th speed setting. Correction speed. Pressure equal to a firm handshake. Not 50 square foot-pounds of pressure down on the polisher. All that does is help to spike heat. And what I'm looking for now is it going to start to dust early? Is it going to dry out? Does it have a short cycle time? How many passes can we do here before the formula really starts to dry out? I myself, I like the long cycle times, but I don't like the trade-off because sometimes that means that you're using a polish that is really oily. 3D1 falls into that category. As much as I like it, sometimes it could be a pain to wipe off. Okay, so we can work this. Has a nice cycle time. No dusting whatsoever. Let's take one more pass to really test the open time or the cycle time. And what that simply means is how much or how long can I work the product before the abrasives are so diminished they don't do anything and the polish just dries out. And always keep the polisher on the panel until the rotation and oscillation stops. So we could have probably done another 2 or 3 passes. The open time, the cycle time is very good and very impressive. And we've done a lot of work. Now I do want to show you there are some light sand marks left over, and you do have to keep in mind that this panel is deeply scratched in some areas here. Let me get you off pedestal here. From this angle it looks pretty good. I mean, compared to this side. We went from that to this. However, there are still some sand marks right here. Cleared up everything else for the most part. So maybe switching over to a straight up cutting microfiber pad or team it up with the rotary and a wool pad. All right, let's come over here and test it in the areas that have the real deep sand marks. Can we touch these areas at all? Let's find out. I'm also going to get a panel prep and then spray the hood down to make sure that it's not filling these imperfections instead of removing them and correcting them. Okay, again, we're working on this side now. Load up the pad. Now, if I was correcting a car, I would take this and clean out the pad because I like to clean out the pad before I load up with new product. And that's almost every pass, so. This is a test panel, so I'm not going to throw the cord up over my shoulder. There's not enough cord anyway. I'm going to stop right here. Wipe off the residue. I have my panel prep ready to go. And we will inspect the results. I have the handy dandy swirl finder here. Hit it with the panel prep to make sure it's not just filling these sand marks. Okay, now me looking at it from here, it had trouble with these 1200, 1000 grit, and that's okay. It did make improvement, but that's okay. There are harsher and stronger compounds to take care of that type of damage, but I want to show you. This is what we started with here, with all this mess, and this is what we ended up with. And if you look carefully, I'll get the swirl finder, you can see these heavy marks here from the 1200 grit and the 1000 grit. Fantastic over here with the lighter grit, 2000, 1500, but as we come down through, you'll see these at the 1200, 1000 grit. So I would classify this as more of a medium polish to cutting, somewhere in between there. Maybe great for one steps, not crazy aggressive, and you don't need anything crazy aggressive with today's paint schemes. So no big deal. I wouldn't have a problem with that. What I'm going to do now is swap over from the 50/50 pad to a foam finishing pad, and then we'll get some measurements on gloss. See how we can really get some crisp reflections and some incredible gloss here. You could switch over to a rotary polisher and a harsh microfiber cut pad to get rid of that and do a couple passes. And definitely an option. All right, I'm going to swap over to an ultrafine pad for dual action polishers, and we'll do this side right here, and we'll see how glossy and smooth we can get this little area here. All right, we're all set right there. Let's get the finishing polish over here and shake that up and get that all mixed in. Polish on the pad. Now these finishing polishes, you can normally work these for a long period of time, so you never have to worry about dusting or premature drying out, a short cycle time. So we can pretty much work these areas and finish them down to your liking. Should do it. Residue is easy to wipe off with both the cutting and the polishing fluids here. Doesn't leave a streaky haze behind. We will use the panel prep one more time before we do some gloss measurements. So a pleasure to work with, decent scent, easy to wipe off, long cycle time. Let's get out the gloss meter, put some numbers behind what we're going to see here. And I'll bring you in, and we're up to 95.4 gloss meters. Before we started, down in this mess, 9.9. Hell of a jump. So how I would classify these, or this system, great for enhancements, great for one-steps, great for new paint systems, year 2000 model or newer, because of the softer clears transitioning from solvent-based to water-based clear. This would be a perfect system. I really enjoy the long cycle time, easy to wipe off. It could be more aggressive. It lacks in aggressiveness. The cutting compound finishes down great. You can see the crisp reflection of the wall and everything next to it, the lights. Does a fine job. I would give it 7 out of 10. Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video. These can be found, by the way, if you have a detailing world local in your area. No need to order. Just visit them, say hello, pick these up, add them to your arsenal. Catch you guys later.